Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, we're going to take a look at this special anniversary issue of Wonder Woman 300. Yes, the 300th issue of the Wonder Woman title, covering that's spanned over 40 years. And since this is the month of February, the month of romance, this actually fits in with that as well. Let's that stay down. This is from 1983 with a variety of creators. We'll get to them a little later. This is Wonder Woman 300, 1983, celebrating the 300th issue of Wonder Woman. And of course, this is features the Diana Prince from the pre-crisis version of Wonder Woman. Diana Prince, as her alter ego. She was Major Prince of the U.S. Air Force at that time. And of course, the character of Wonder Woman was created by psychologist William Moulton Marston using the pen name Charles Moulton, along with artist Harry G. Peter in 1941. That is a bad name. That's why he's got to have the G in there, because you know what Harry Peter means. And she first appeared in All-Star Comics number 8, and then it had a first ongoing feature in Sensation Comics number 1, and these are all 1941. And the Wonder Woman title, Volume 1, ran from 1942 to 1986. So it ran for another 3 years after this, from that first one. And this issue is kind of a hodgepodge story by various creators, two writers and various other artists. And we'll take a look at that. So, and look at this cover. I can't be sure who this cover artist was. I want to say Ross Andrew, but I am not sure. I think so. But look, it is a double-page spread. Or actually a wraparound cover is what I mean. Oh, it says Hannigan and Giordano, 82. Okay, Hannigan and Giordano, there it is. And look at, it's got Golden Age Wonder Woman, has almost all of the major and some of the minor characters from the DC Comics superhero universe at that time. Jeez Louise. Look here. Even has Super Tot and Wonder Tot. That's kind of funny. And has the, whoops, I knocked it askew. And it even has the Comics Code Authority just kind of crammed in here at an angle. But then the whole masthead is at an angle to kind of fit. And here we go. Inside there, no ads. This is 70 pages of story, no ads. It has an illustration on the inside front cover. This is by George Perez. This is shortly before he and Marv Wolfman did the reboot, Wonder Woman post-crisis reboot. And then here on the inside back cover is a very lovely illustration by Mike Kaluta. So, and I'm going to try to go through this as briefly as I can because it is so long. It's basically a graphic novel before they did much in the way of those. But it is a special issue. It says, Beautiful Dreamer, Death Unto Thee is the title. A very special super-length saga Here is our creative team. Roy and Dinette Thomas were the writers. Then in the artists, we had Gene Colan, Ross Andrew, Jen Dersima, Keith Pollard, Keith Giffen, Dick Giordano, Rich Buckler, Frank McLaughlin, Tom Mandrake, Larry Malstead. Of course, then had John Costanza as the letter, Carl Gafford as colorist, and Marv Wolfman as the editor, with Dan Mishkin as a consultant, probably on the history and stuff. Anyway, we see here Wonder Woman is being confronted by this dark, almost amorphous figure. And so, what's going on? She doesn't understand it, and she's being attacked and overpowered, and she just, her lasso, there's nothing physical there for her to fight against, yet it's able to grab her. Then suddenly, the Sandman appears. This is the Jack Kirby version of the Sandman. And he pops out from a vortex from the dream realm. And she is pulled away from the grasp of the being, who then brushes off and bolts off, and now she wakes up. What's been going on? Because she has been sleepwalking. She's been having very restless dreams, and she has been under attack in her dreams by this amorphous being, and Sandman has been, as part of his duties, monitors the dreams and nightmares of the waking world. And because the lovely Gene Colan artwork, just like, it's not about this time he had been doing a lot of Wonder Woman stuff. He's just great. Of course, his best work, of course, is on Doctor Strange and Tomb of Dracula, and then in the 80s he did a lot of film noir detective stuff, and all that stuff is just the best for his particular style. Anyway, and he tells her that she's this is what's been happening. So she rushes home because she's going to be late. She gets to work as she is Major Diana Prince here with her co-worker Etta Candy and Steve Trevor. And of course, Steve no longer does not know that she is Wonder Woman, of course, but and she is, of course, in love with Steve Trevor, but he is in love with Wonder Woman, and of course they have been dating. He doesn't know. She should have told him, but anyway, here they are. He says something that kind of infuriates her. He has to take off. He has to go deal with some kind of a diplomatic thing, and she's been so restless and has been so exhausted from sleep. She gets in her jet and takes off, and then she's just overwhelmed by sleep, and there again, or is about to, and there again is that shadow figure, the shadow thing, attacking her, and she goes up, tries to fight it, but here has multiple chapters, and here it switches to Ross Andrew and Dick Giordano. Of course, Ross Andrew drew Wonder Woman for quite some time in the Silver Age, and what turns out here are two Wonder Women. It turns out that somewhere along the process, she had in combating this shadow thing, she had crossed over into the Earth 2 universe, where there is the Earth 2 Wonder Woman, who is considerably older, although she has some gray hair, but she still looks very young, and she is married to her version of Steve Trevor, and they have a daughter together. And she's getting it. So she said, "While I'm here, I'll get a little information, or a little not information, advice, advice from the elder version." About marrying Steve, and she says it's the best thing she's ever done. She goes back. There's launching a submarine, very nicely done, except it's the wrong kind of submarine. This was the type of submarine from looks like probably from the 1950s, before we had the teardrop shape, and all of our submarines since then, since the teardrop shape, nuclear subs have been. Anyway, and here's someone is trying to draw a bead on Steve Trevor, and she's right there. Both she and Steve take out the assassin. The ship is launched fine, and of course now they're talking about getting married. She relents to she asks him to marry her, and then said they'll do it in a few weeks on Paradise Island. Okay, but he's going to be away. They are going off together on this diplomatic mission, and she is the one that has handcuffed to the diplomatic pouch, and seeing stuff about in the papers about the upcoming wedding of Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. They discover there is a bomb in the briefcase that she is handcuffed to. They cannot get it off, and she quickly dons a parachute and bails out of the plane to avoid problems with anyone in the plane. And she apparently goes kablooey, and everyone thinks Diana is dead, and she really feels bad about having to lie to Steve and all of her other friends about her being dead. The Sandman appears again to her, and he gives his, here we go, Keith Giffen, and he's got imitating the Jack Kirby stylization. Gives his background, which I won't even go into, and his origin, and confesses his love for her and wants her to come live with him in the dream world. She goes to visit her mother, wanting to set up for the wedding, and she falls asleep, and then she has her first silly dream. This is a dream that is modified from the true first appearance of her encounter with Steve Trevor. Plane crashes, saves him, yada yada yada, have the competition, but in the process, Hippolyta, her mother, does not want her to go. Therefore, she abdicates the throne, goes to Mount Olympus as a goddess, and forcing Diana to remain on Paradise Island as the queen, and allowing Mala to become Wonder Woman to return Steve Trevor. And she is so sad because she has to say, then she wakes up, and she has then they're erecting a platform because men can't set foot on Paradise Island. Yada yada yada. Has another. She falls asleep again, has another dream. This time it's not Steve Trevor, but someone named Trevor Stevens. It's the same basic scenario. She takes him back, finds out he is a criminal, and she has to stop and capture him herself, even though she has fallen in love with him. Then she is assaulted. The dream monster again. She's flying to the GLA satellite to deliver invitations to her teammates, and Superman greets her. Then on her way back, she falls asleep again because she is so exhausted, and she can't even understand why she is falling asleep so much. And this one, she has the origin dream again, but this time it's Superman instead of Steve Trevor. They come back to man's world. They get married, but it doesn't work out between their respective duties as Superman and Wonder Woman. They have almost no time together. They argue all the time, etc., etc. And she awakens again, and she falls asleep, has yet one more dream in which the same thing over and over again, except this time she is very, very cold and hard. And when she goes to man's world, she enforces her her brand of justice, even putting her own face on these Mount Rushmore, and she becomes most wanted. And in the process of her trying to capture her, Steve Trevor is accidentally killed, and she is on the run. Then she wakes up again, seeing that shadow thing face. They're in the middle of the wedding on that platform in the surf of Paradise Island, and in the middle of the ceremony, Steve says, I just can't do it. And he takes off, and she takes off. They talk. The wedding is off. Superman flies the platform away with everyone, and then she falls asleep on the beach. And again, this time with Sandman's help, he takes her to her. She is so heartbroken. He takes her to the dream world, and she is beginning to relent. She has even commented how creepy and stalkerish this Sandman has been with her, and it is kind of creepy. This Sandman is kind of creepy with it there, but in the end, she winds up confronting the shadow thing. They thought it was all over, and it is revealed that the shadow thing is the dream manifestation of her own doubts and insecurities. They overcome that. He returns her to the real world, and she goes back to see Steve and said, even if we can't get married right now, I still love you, yada, yada, yada. Then they get word that Diana has been found, she survived, she is coming back. So she is coming back. So it's probably, I think, another 3 years before they finally do get married, if I remember correctly. So that is, sorry it's so abbreviated, but that is a long story. It had some nice artwork by a bunch of different writers. The story, it is a bit on the incoherent side, but that's by the nature of the kind of story that they're doing. But it kind of works. So that's all I have to share with you this time with this version. This time with Wonder Woman number 300. Can you imagine? None of the books today would last to 300. They would start it over again and again and again, because number ones always sell. So every few issues they start over again with another number one. So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this version of this particular issue of Wonder Woman. What do you think of this version, pre-crisis version of Wonder Woman, compared to the post-crisis version? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.